Online students, please all of you confirm the chat box. Am I audible? Okay, I'm starting the session. Listen, in previous session, successfully we finished module 2 PLSQL, and in the Google Classroom complete course material I uploaded. Okay, download those 6 files and keep with you. Okay, next chapter, sequences in the module 3. First chapter, sequences introduction also I have given. If you want to generate sequential integers in the table like this, if you want to generate sequential numbers in the table like this, use sequence concept. How to generate sequential numbers? Remember this syntax? Follow it. This is the syntax. Suppose if you want to generate these employee IDs, write like this. Create sequences for. Okay, start with value is. Observe, start with value is 1001. We want to start numbering from 1001. Increment by value. After 1001, 1002, 1003. So increment by value 1. Minimum value 1001. Maximum value 1003. Or if you want to generate up to 9,999, maximum value 9,999, you can generate up to 9,999 now. If it want these numbers repeatedly, cycle. If you don't want repetition, if you want to generate unique values, no cycle. Cache improves performance. So this is the syntax of creating sequence. Suppose if you want to generate these sequential numbers, tell me, sir, create sequences for what is the starting value? 10. What is increment by value? 10. After 10, we want to generate 20. After 20, we want to generate 30. Increment by value 10. Minimum value 10. Maximum value 90. Okay. From 10 to 90, I want to generate. I don't want repetition. No side. No, after 90, again 10 I want to generate. 10 to 90. After 90, again 10. 10 to 90. After 90, again 10. 10 to 90. So if you want to generate repeatedly like this, cycle. If you don't want repetition, no cycle. Catch improves performance. Who is this? Sainath. Sainath. Maybe yesterday he was absent. Huh? So when I say sequence topic over, at that time, if you have any doubts, ask. When I am typing, don't ask like that. When I say sequence topic is over, at that point, if point is not covered, then ask your doubt. Sign up. Okay? Listen. Focus on listening. See, all these are optional. Actually, we created one sequence without all these values. All these are optional only, not compulsory. All these are optional. This is mandatory. Create sequence name. So can we write like this? Select ename comma salary, where salary greater than 3000 from EMP. Can we write like this? Is it possible, sir? Huh? Select ename comma salary, where salary greater than 3000 from EMP. Is it correct, sir? Huh? Right or wrong? Right or wrong? Wrong. After select, can we write where? No. After select, what should be there? From. What is the order here? Select from where? Like this, right? But I'm changing the order. It is against to syntax. We cannot write like this. Order is compulsory. First class must be select. Second class must be from. Next class must be where. This order is compulsory. This is correct query. This is wrong. First I am writing select, sir. Then where? Then from. We cannot write like that. Wrong. So in select command, order compulsory. But here, in our sequence, order is not having any importance. Even if you write increment by first, start with next, nothing wrong. Even if you write max value first, then remaining next, nothing wrong. So this order is not important here. In any order you can specify, but specifying sequence option is important. Specifying sequence option is important. In any order you can specify. So remember this syntax, follow it. I'm creating one sequence like this. Create sequence S1. Observe here. I'm not specifying start with minimum value, maximum value. Observe. Then what is the default start with value? 1. By default, numbering starts from 1. What is the default increment by value? 1. That is why after 1, 2 generating. Then 3 generating. Default increment by value 1. Default minimum value 1. Like this, it can generate up to 10 power 28. By default, no cycle. Default cache size is 20. How can you say, sir? Create sequence like this. See the sequence information like this. Select star from user underscore sequences. It gives sequences information. It's like all tables information maintained by user underscore tables. All procedures information maintained by user underscore procedures. All sequences information maintained by user underscore sequences. Let me show this one only. Observe. C hashes batch 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Okay. Set page size 200, line size 200. Clear the screen. Observe. Just a minute, please wait. See here. I want to create one sequence now with the name S1. See, notice here, create sequence S1. Observe here, sequence created, observe. So this is a proof. All sequence options are optional. I'm not specifying start with increment by min value, max value, nothing I'm specifying. So how can we say these are the default values? Observe, select star from user underscore sequences. See, sequence name as well. Minimum value 1. Maximum value. E means understand like into 10 power. So 1.0 into 10 power. 1.0 into 10 power 28. One point zero into 10 power 28 means 10 power 28. That is the maximum value. Increment by value 1. Default cycle, no cycle. Default cache size is 20. So these are the default values. Now, how to generate next value in the sequence? This we have to learn first. There are two sequence pseudo columns are there. Okay, there are two sequence related pseudo columns are there. What are those? One is next val, another one is curval. The names are giving the meanings here. You can guess now. Next val returns next value in the sequence. Curval returns current value in the sequence. Next val returns next value in the sequence. Curval returns current value in the sequence. You already know some pseudo columns like row ID. Row ID, you know. Row num, you know. Like row ID, row num. These are also pseudo columns only. These are sequence related pseudo columns. How to call them? See the syntax. Syntax is sequence name dot pseudo column name. Sequence name dot sequence pseudo column name. You can guess now. For example, if a sequence name is S1, write like this S1 dot next one. If sequence name is S1, S1 dot curve. You tell me, sir. I'm writing like this now. Select S1 dot next value. I'm writing, sir. What we get now? Eh? What is the next value? Just now we created this sequence. Observe. What is the starting value in the sequence? What is the increment by value? If I write like this, S1 dot next 12, first value it generates. What is the start with value? 1 we get. Again I am writing, select S1 dot next 12. Next which value we get? Default increment by value 1. So that is why I am getting 2. You tell me now. Again I am calling. Next 12. What we get, sir? 3. Again I am calling. 4. Again I am calling. 5. Generating sequential numbers, sir. Observe. Now I want to know current value in the sequence. After some time, which is the current value I forgot. Or after some days also. I may forget what is the current value. If I want to check what is the current value, S1 dot current value is 5. 5 it returns. Next 12 returns next value in the sequence. Curval returns current value in the sequence. Is it clear up to here? Check here. Select S1 dot next value. Next value we are getting observed. Again. See, next value we are getting observed, sir. So this is a way of generating sequential numbers. Now what is the current value I want to check now? Current value is 18. S1 dot curval. Current value I am getting. See here? Curval. Current value is 18. So next value returns next value in the sequence. Curval returns current value in the sequence. Like this, we can generate sequential numbers using sequence concept. Okay, now see one suitable example on it. Let's create one table like this. EMP 120, employee ID, employee name. Generate sequential numbers from 10012 to 1005. This is my requirement. Using sequence concept. Using sequence concept, generate these sequential numbers. This is our requirement. 10012, 1005. So first create the sequence, then create the table. Create the sequence now. Observe. Create. What we want to create? Sequence. With which name? S2. Create sequence S2. Okay. Now, start with, if I write this much only, default start with value 1. So it generates from 1 now. 1, 2 like this. But I want to start from 1001. So definitely have to specify start with. Remember that in no cycle, min value has, in no cycle, min value has no importance. In no cycle, min value has no importance. Remember that in no cycle, min value has no importance. In cycle, min value is important. In no cycle, min value has not that much importance. Leave about minimum value. After 1001, we want to generate 1002. So increment by value 1. Increment by value 1. So default increment by value 1 only. So no need to write increment by. Maximum value by default 10 power 28. But I want to set my own maximum value 1005. So write like this 1005. That's it. Remaining values it takes as default values. Starts from 1001, generates next value up to 1005. Create this table now. Create table. EMP120. Employee ID. Number of 4. E-name. E-name. Varchar 2. Varchar 2 of 10. Bracket close, semicolon. So table is created, okay. Now insert the records now. How to insert? Observe. Insert into EMP 120. Values. Values. Listen carefully. I want to get next value in the sequence. So to get next value in the sequence, suppose if you want to get today's date, sys date, like this you are calling. That is function call. So today's date will be inserted. In the same way, call the sequence now. If you want to get next value in the sequence, in which sequence? S2. In the S2 sequence, next value I want. So write like this. S2 dot next value. Write like this. S2 dot next value. Read employee name. Read employee name like this. That's it, sir. What is the output we get now? Enter value for ename. It is not asking. Employee ID, observe. Employee ID will be generated by calling this sequence. First time this value will be 1001. Ename value I'm giving as A. This record inserted. First record inserted, sir. To run above query, we type slash. Again, it is asking enter value for ename. I'm giving B. 1002 generated. 1002. 1002 B inserted. Again to run above query slash 1003 inserted. Sorry. 1003 C inserted. Again I'm typing slash 1004 inserted. Again I'm typing slash 1005 inserted. Again I'm typing slash. If I try to insert this record, it reached maximum value now. Error. S2 dot next val reached maximum value. Reached maximum value. Like this, some error we get. In this meaning, some error we get. Okay. Or like this it goes. Exceeds. S2 dot next val exceeds maximum value. What is the maximum value we specified? 1004. If it is generating next value that exceeds this maximum value now. That is why it is not generating next value. This one only I'm showing. Observe here. First create sequence. See here. Observe. S2 sequence. Start with 1001. Maximum value 1005. Sequence create. Observe, sir. Create EMP 120 table. EMP 120 table create. Observe. Insert the records now. Insert into EMP 120 values. S2 dot next val ampersand ename. See here 1001 inserted. S2 dot next val means 1001 A inserted. Again I am running 1002 inserted. 1003 inserted. 1004 inserted. 1005 inserted. Reached maximum value. If I try to insert, error. S2 dot next val exits maximum value. So this is the way of generating sequential numbers. Sequential numbers generated in the table. Observe now. Select star from EMP 120. See, sir. Sequential number generated. Observe. Using sequence concept, automatically we generated sequential numbers. Observe, sir. Even in the PL programs, also same style. Even in the variable, also you can hold this value x colon equals to S2 dot next val. X variable value is next val in the sequence. Even in the variable, also you can hold that one. In PL programs. So this is about generating sequential numbers in the table. Now S2 is useless now. Unable to generate, sir. Observe. S2 is useless now. S2 dot next val. Unable to generate now. Reached maximum value. S2 useless now. Unable to generate next value. But I want to generate now. So we need to modify the sequence. Just like to modify the table structure, we use alter command. To modify the sequence also, which command we have to use, sir? Alter. Just instead of writing create here, instead of writing create here, just write alter. This is the syntax of alter command. Alter, sequence, sequence name, sequence options. So I want to modify the S2 sequence now. So to modify S2 sequence, write like this, alter. What we want to alter? Sequence S2. What's the maximum value we want to specify? Tell that what? 1020. I want to set increment by value. I want to increase two values. The maximum value 1005, sir. After 1005, I want to generate 1007, 1009, 1011, like this. Two values I want to increase. So increment by value 2. No, see here. Sequence altered. Observe. How to alter the sequence? Alter sequence, sequence name, sequence options. This is altering sequence. Now again S2 working or not test here. Generating next value or not. Previously value was 1005. Two values increase 1007. Again two values will be increased 1009. See here two values increasing. Observe. Reached maximum value. If next it will generate 1021 out of maximum value. Error. See, if you want to alter this sequence, again, alter sequence. Sequence name, sequence options. So this is the way of generating sequential numbers in the table and altering sequence also. You know very clearly. Is it clear up to here? Online students, is it clear up to here? Next, suppose to get grip on it, I'm explaining second example. I want to create this table, sir. Course 120, course ID, course name. I want to generate sequential numbers like this. 10 is course ID for Java, 20 is course ID for Python, 30 is course ID for so and so course. Like this. I want to generate sequential numbers up to 90. Now feel like practice, sir. You tell me to generate sequential numbers from 10 to 90. How to create the sequence now? Uh, Start with 10, increment by 10, maximum value 90. Remaining values take as default values. In no cycle, by default it is no cycle only. In no cycle, min value has no importance. We want to generate unique course IDs. Course ID should not be repeated. So no cycle. Default one is no cycle only. That is why we are not writing. Create this table now. Create table. Course 120. Course ID. Number of 2. Course name. Record 2 of 10. Right close semicolon. Insert the records now. Insert into which table? Course 120. 120. Values. To generate next value in the sequence. Right like this. S3 dot next value. If I give Java here, Java record will be inserted. If I give Python here, Python record will be inserted. This. So first time this value will be 10. Start with value. Increment by 10. So next value is 20. Is it correct or not? Test here. Create the sequence first. Observe. Sequence created. Create the table now. Typing mistake is there. Copy this. Table create. Observe. I want to generate sequential course IDs using S3 sequence. So insert like this. Insert into course 120 values S3 dot next val means 10 generated 10 Java. Insert into sorry, next val typing mistake is there. Next val typing mistake. See sir, 10 inserted Python. 20 inserted. See, 30 inserted. Okay. AWS 40 inserted. Like this. To save it, commit. Open and see the table data. Select star from Course 120. See here. Sequential number generated. Observe, sir. So this is the way of generating sequential numbers. Is it clear? Next. Listen. Now in the sequence options, to specify starting value in the sequence, start with. To specify increment by value, step value, increment by. To specify minimum value in the sequence, min value. To specify maximum value in the sequence, max value. These four we know very clearly. If we want to generate these sequential numbers, start with value 10, increment by value 10, minimum value 10, maximum value 90. These four we know very clearly. Next, learn about cycle, no cycle. Then we discuss about cache. With this, all sequence options will be finished. After that, we can generate sequential numbers using sequence concept. Using identity concept also we can generate. Okay. After completion of sequence options, we need to learn how to generate sequential numbers using identity concept. See here. I am talking about cycle, no cycle. First I explain about cycle. Then I explain about, oh, sorry. First I explain about no cycle. Then I explain about cycle. No cycle you already know. Once again I'm telling. Observe now. I'm creating sequence like this. Create a sequence S4. Start with 500. Okay. Max value 999. No cycle. Like this separate. What happens now? Understand here. Sequence starts from start with value 500. If I call next val, generates next value. Again, I'm calling next val, generates next value. Like this, it can generate next value up to 999. Reached maximum value. If I try to generate next value, what it gives? Error. So this is the meaning of no cycle. No cycle means no repetition. Unique numbers will be generated. From 500 to 999, unique numbers generated. This is no cycle. In no cycle, sequence starts from start with value, generates next value up to the maximum value. After reaching maximum value, it will be stopped generating next value the sequence. This is no cycle. Then what about cycle? If I write cycle here, what happens now? It generates, its sequence starts from start with value, generates next value up to maximum value 999. After reaching maximum value, because of cycle, again it generates minimum value. Minimum value 500. Okay. I didn't specify minimum value, sir. For cycle, we must specify minimum value. Or suppose I'm specifying minimum value 100. Possible. What is happening? Understand now. Sequence start with value 500, generating next value up to maximum value 999. Because of cycle, after 999, again it generates 500. 501, 502, again it can generate up to 990. After 999, again it generates 500. Again it generates up to 900. See, sir, repeatedly it is generating 500 to 900. Observe. This is what cycle. To generate unique sequential numbers, don't use it. If we want unique sequential numbers, don't use cycle. Always go for no cycle only. Now, after reaching maximum value, if you want to reset to minimum value, then go for this cycle. If anyone is not understanding, for them I'm telling, once again I'm telling, listen. If sequence is created with no cycle, start with value, generates next value up to maximum value. After reaching maximum value, it will be stopped. This is no cycle. Whereas in cycle, after reaching maximum value, again it generates first value. Start with value. Sorry, minimum value. I'm sorry. After reaching maximum value, it generates minimum value. What it generates? 100. In my previous example, I'm very sorry, sir. I did one mistake, sir. I'm sorry for that. Fresh. I'm explaining. Listen. No cycle correct only. Cycle I did mistake, sir. Let me explain clearly. Sequence start with value 500. Generates next value 501, 502, 503 like this. It can generate up to maximum value 999. Sequence start with value, generates next value up to maximum value. After reaching maximum value, it will be reset to minimum value. This is minimum value. This is maximum value. This is start with value. Understand this point now? If no cycle, sequence start with value 500, generates next value up to maximum value 999, it will be stopped. After reaching maximum value, generating next value will be stopped. Already we have seen, practically we have seen. But in the case of cycle, start with value, generates next value up to maximum value. After maximum value, it will be reset to minimum value. Minimum value 100 will be generated. Again, it can generate up to 999. After 999, again 100. Like this 100 to 999, repeatedly it generates. From minimum value to maximum value, repeatedly it generates. This is cycle. Is it clear about cycle? No cycle. Online students, listen carefully. I'm showing this one only. Practically. Observe. Create sequence. Notice here. S3 or S4. Start with 515 I'm giving. Max value 520 I'm giving. No cycle I'm giving. Observe now. Sequence created. select S4 dot next one. See, sequence starts from start with value. This is no cycle, sir. Observe. Sequence starts from start with value 515. Generates next value, next value, next value up to maximum value 520. After reaching maximum value, it will be stopped. Next value, it is not generating. No cycle. Same thing. Using cycle, we are creating now. Create sequence S5. Start with 500 or 515. Max value 520. Min value 100. Cycle. In cycle, min value has importance. In no cycle, min value has no importance. Observe what happens now. See, sequence created. Generate next value now. Select S5 dot next value. Sequence starts from start with value 515. Generates next value up to 520. After 520, it generates minimum value. Again, it can generate from 100 to 520. Again, 100 to 520. Again, 100 to 520, like this. See here, first value 515, 516, 517, 518, 519, 520. After reaching maximum value, it generates minimum value 100. Observe, sir. Cycle. See, after maximum value, it generates minimum value 100. Now again, it can generate up to 999. After 999, again it will be reset to 100. So 100 to 999 repeatedly it generates. If you don't want repetition, go for no cycle. If you want repetition, go for cycle. Cycle, no cycle topic is over, sir. Last one, cache. Cache, we give cache size. No cache also we can write. No cache degrades performance, so it is not recommended. It degrades performance. How it degrades performance? How cache improves performance? Understand this point? Suppose if sequence is created with no cache, if sequence is created with no cache, what happens? See, create sequence, sequence name, start with okay, create sequence S6, start with I want to start from 1001 or 500 maximum value 999. No cache, no cache, no cache, not recommended. Degrades performance. Now we need to improve the performance. No cache degrades performance. How it degrades performance? Understand this. See here, sequence created permanently in the database. Server contains two memories, instance, database. Where this sequence created permanently, the database. Okay. Observe now what happens. I'm calling like this S6 dot next one. Okay. What it generates? Start with value 500. Again, I'm calling next val 501. Okay. Like this, it generates, you already know. But what is happening here internally? Understand this point. Suppose I'm calling like this S6 dot next val. What is happening now? First time start with value generated. Okay. Generated. Okay. From second time onwards, first time 500. First value generated. Okay. Leave it. From second time onwards, what is happening? Understand no? If I call like this, if I call like this, identifies current value in the sequence. Current value in the sequence is 500. To this current value, adds increment by value 1, 501 will be returned. So if I call like this, I'm getting 501. Again, I am calling S6 dot next value. What is the current value? 501. To this current value, adds increment by value 1. Like this. Like this, it generates. Simple. But every time it is identifying current value, adding increment by value, returning the value. It degrades performance. For every sequence call, identifying current value, adding increment by value, generated value, it is returning. Again, I am calling sequence current value identified, adds increment by value, generated value returns to sequence call. So like this sequential numbers it is generating. Here cache is not there. So every time it goes to database, every time identifies current value, adds increment by value, returns value. So again it is going to database, adds increment by value. Okay, this value it returns. So the point to understand here is for every sequence call, it goes to database, identifies current value, adds increment by value, value it returns. For every sequence call, it is happening. Means every time Oracle is going to database. If number of travels to database are increased, performance will be degraded. This is the problem. Why this problem is occurring? Because of no cache. No cache degrades performance. If anyone is not understanding, again I am telling about cache, listen. I am creating sequence with no cache. It degrades performance now. How? First time it is generating 500. Okay, leave it. Second time again I am calling. So now current value it identifies 500. Adds increment by value 1. Is generated value returns to sequence call. Again I am calling. Again same thing. Identifies current value. Adds increment by value. Returns. So for every sequence call, it is going to database, identifying current value, adding increment by value. For every sequence call, Oracle is going to database, identifying current value, adds increment by value, returns 7. So like this, every time it is going to database here. If number of travels to database are increased, performance will be degraded. To improve the performance, we are using cache. Default size is 20. You can give any size. I am giving cache size as 100. Now what is happening? Understand? First time 500 it generates. Okay, leave it. Understand this? So when we are working with sequence here, see, cache is part of instance. Cache is part of instance. Cache is temporary memory. If I call like this, s6.nextval, if I call like this, s6.nextval, first time 500 generated, okay. So at that time only, 100 values will be reloaded into the cache. 500, 501, 502, like this, up to 100. These values will be loaded in the cache. If cache size is 100, first 100 values will be loaded in the cache. If I call like this, it collects from cache. Again, I am calling s6.nextval. s6.nextval. What happens now? Here in the cache, already preloaded values are there. Next value in the sequence, it is taking 501. Again, I am calling like this, s6.nextval. s6.nextval. See here, 501 it generates. From where it is taking? From the cache. Again, I am calling. It takes next value from cache. Again, I am calling. It takes next value from cache. Like this. So what is the advantage we are getting here? Every time it is not going to database. Every time it is not calculating. 100 values loaded in the cache, from cache collecting, from cache collecting, from cache collecting, improves performance. Every time it is not going to database. Every time not calculating. So this calculation time, this traveling time will be saved. Last time I'm telling, sir, if I create like this, no cache, if I create like this, no cache, identifies current value, adds increment by value, returns a value. Identifies current value, adds increment by value, returns a value like this. So every time it is going to database, identifying current value, adding increment by value, returning the value. If number of travels to database increase, performance will be degraded. To improve the performance, use cache. The cache 100 values loaded. If I call the sequence, collect next value from the cache. If I call the sequence like this, collects next value from the cache. Cache improves performance. After reaching 599, again 100 values will be loaded into cache. 600, 601 up to 699. Next 100 values. After reaching the 699, again 100 values. So every time 100 values will be loaded in the cache. Cache improves performance. If cache is not there, if cache is not there, every time it goes to database, identifies current value, adds increment by value, returns. Identifies current value, adds increment by value, returns. If number of travels to database increase, performance will be degraded. To improve the performance, we are using cache. If I give cache size 100, 100 values will be loaded into the cache. When I call the sequence, collect from cache. So it improves the performance. Cache improves performance. Is it clear about cache? Now, all sequence options we know. 6 sequence options we know very clearly, sir. Next, note from Oracle 12C version onwards, we can generate sequential numbers using 2 ways. What are those 2 ways? First one is using sequence concept we can generate. Using identity concept also we can generate. How to generate using identity we have to learn now. Sequence we know. Identity we need to learn. This we know. Till now we have seen this one only. All sequence options also we know. Start with min value, max value, cycle, no cycle, cache, no cache, everything we know. How to use identity? Remember this syntax, follow it. Column name. When you're defining the column at the time of creation of table, when we are defining the column, in that we use identity. How to use column name, data type, right here, generated always as identity. Understand this one now? Suppose employee ID, column name, number of 4, column name, employee ID, number of 3 or 4. Generated always as identity. If we write like this, what happens here is internally it creates one sequence, but externally not required. Internally it is creating sequence only. Like this. ISCQ dollar dollar. Maybe one 5-digit random number it takes. So like this, it generates one sequence now implicitly with default values. Default start with 1, default increment by 1, default maximum value 10,029, like this. 10,000, 10 power 28, sorry. Okay. So if I write like this, internally sequence will be created with the default values. Now, with your own values, if you want to create implicit sequence, you specify it. Starts from 1001. Max value 9099. That's it. Understand, sir? If I write like this, it generates numbers from 1 to 10 power 20. Suppose if I write like this, generated always as identity. In the parenthesis, I am writing max value. Okay. Start with value 1001. Max value 9,999. This is about identity concept. Identity. Understand this clearly. I'm creating the table. Create a table T 125 F1 column number of 4 or I'm giving table name as EMP 125 employee ID number of 4. I want to generate employee ID sequential employee numbers. I'm writing like this generated always as identity. If I write this much only, the sequence numbering starts from 1. But I want to start from 1001. So right 1001. I want to set maximum value as 1005. That's it. So at the time of defining column, write like this generated always as identity. Specify sequence options. Not only start with max value, others also can specify cycle, no cycle, cache, no cache. All those are possible here. Second column name, employee name. Marker 2 after. How to insert the records? Insert into EMP 125 values. No need to give employee ID. Automatically it will be inserted. Give only employee. A. 1001 will be generated. 1002 will be generated. 1003 will be generated. 1004 will be generated. 1005 will be generated. Reached maximum value. If I write like this, it gives error. It gives error as okay. What is error it is giving? Observe here. See, I'm creating the table now. You tell me, sir. I want to create EMP 25 table, EMP 125 table with the columns employee ID, employee name. This employee IDs I want to generate sequential numbers from 10001 to 1005. From 1001 to 1005 sequential numbers I want to generate using identity concept. Tell me, sir, how to create the table now? Uh, employee ID, number of 4, uh, generated always as identity. This is identity concept. If I write this much only, numbering starts from 1. But I want to start from 1001. So write like this. Generated always as identity. Start with 1001. I want to generate up to 1005. 1005. Comma. Employee name. Bracket 2 of 10. Bracket close. Semicolon. See here. Table create. Observe, sir. For employee ID, I'm setting identity. Using identity, I want to generate sequential numbers from 1001 to 1005. So this is the way of using identity concept. Internally, one sequence created. How can you say sequence created? Check the sequences. See here. Select star from user underscore sequences. See, This sequence we didn't create, sir. ISCQ dollar dollar underscore. This we didn't create. We used generated always as identity. Internally, that ISCQ sequence created. This is created implicitly by Oracle. Uh, so now I'm calling I want to insert the records now. So insert into EMP 125. No need to give employee ID. Give only employee name, values. A 1001 inserted. B 1002 inserted. C 1003 inserted. D 1004 inserted. E 1005 inserted. Reached maximum value. Error. What it is telling. So with this we can understand that identity concept if we use internally it is using sequence concept or not. Internally it is using sequence only. Then what is the advantage we are getting, sir? What is the advantage? Why they introduced this is the 12C? Because if I use sequence concept, first create sequence, then create table. How many database objects we are creating? Two. First sequence, then table. If I follow this identity, I'm not creating sequence, observe. Only I'm creating table. One database object I'm creating, sir. I'm not creating sequence. Once again, I'm telling. If we use sequence concept, first create sequence, then create table like this. Then generate the values. If I use identity concept, what is the advantage? No need to create sequence explicitly. Just write at the time of creation of table, just write like this. Generated always has identity sequence options. So if we write like this, internally one sequence will be created like this. ISCQ dollar dollar one 5-digit random number. Like this one sequence will be created. So this sequence is generating sequential values from 1001 to 1004. So what is the advantage we are getting? I'm creating one table only. I'm not creating sequence. If we use sequence concept, we have first to create sequence, then create the table. If we use the identity concept, no need to create sequence explicitly. Just to create table. So this is the way of using identity. Suppose I want to create course 125 table. Course IDs I want to generate now. What I write here? Course ID. Number of 2. What I'm writing? Generated always as identity. Start with 10. Maximum value 90. Like this. Like this we write. Course ID, course name. Varchar 2 often. So if we use sequence concept, first create a sequence, then create a table. How many database objects we are creating? 2. If I use identity concept, what is the advantage I am getting? Just I am creating table only. No need to create sequence separately. Implicitly, sequence will be created. This is the difference. In case of sequence, first create sequence, then create the table, then generate sequential numbers by calling next square. In identity concept, we create table only. Implicitly, sequence will be created. No need to create sequence explicitly here. This is the difference. So according to your convenience, anyone you can use because identity is not separate concept. Implicitly, sequence it is creating. According to your convenience, you can use explicitly sequence or you can use identity concept also. So finally, to drop the sequence, we write sequence, drop sequence name we write. That's it. Sequence will be dropped. See here, observe, select star from user underscore sequences. 6 sequences are there. I want to drop S1 sequence. Write like this. Drop table S1. S1 dropped. Sorry. Sequence, sorry. Not table. Sequence, right? S1 is sequence. Drop sequence. Sequence name. Sequence dropped. Now I cannot use S1 sequence now. If I try to generate S1 next value, error. Sequence does not exist. It is telling sequence dropped here. Is a way of dropping sequence. So can we drop this system generated sequencer? No. It is tied with table. It is tied with the EMP 125 table. See here. Select. It reached maximum value. It is not generating next value. Observe. So I'm trying to drop this sequence now. Drop sequence. Sequence name. See error. What Oracle is telling cannot drop system generated sequence. If we drop the table, automatically the sequence will be dropped now. If it write this much only, sequence will not be dropped because the table will be placed in the recycle bin. If table is deleted permanently, then automatically the sequence also will be dropped. See, see, there is no ISCQ sequence observed. If we drop the table, automatically ISCQ sequence dropped here. I dropped EMP 125 table. So in this, in the employee ID column, this generated always as identity, this sequential values we are using. If we drop the table, this identity sequence will be dropped. So interviewers may ask like this, what is the difference between sequence and identity? In sequence, explicitly we create sequence. In identity, implicitly sequence will be created. Identity tied with table. We cannot drop it explicitly. If we drop table, identity sequence will be dropped automatically. But whereas this sequence independent from table. If we drop table, it will not drop the sequence. Sequence is independent from table. So this is about sequences. Sequence chapter is over, sir. Now we know how to generate sequential numbers using sequence concept and identity concept. In the notes very clearly I mentioned it. Is it clear about sequences? Is it clear about identity? Online students, please confirm. Is it clear about sequences? Okay. Now I want to cover one small topic. I want to cover one small topic, that is synonym. What is the purpose of synonym? Only one purpose, sir. Synonym is used to make lengthy name short. To make lengthy name short, it is useful. It is used to give permanent alias name to table. Permanent alias name to table. You tell me. Suppose I'm writing like this. From EMP, E I'm writing. What is E? Column alias or table alias? Table alias. Can I use that E in another query? No. Table alias temporary or not? But I want to give permanent table alias. To give permanent table alias. To give permanent table alias. Which concept we use, sir? Synonym. How to create synonym? Create synonym. Synonym name for which table? Give the table name. Suppose for EMP table, I want to give another name E. So write like this. Create synonym E. For which table? EMP table. Now, in the future, whenever I want to work with EMP table, I can write like this. Select star from E. E means EMP table only. Update E. Set salary equals to salary plus 1000. E means EMP table. Delete from E like this. E means EMP table. E is another name for EMP table. When it is useful in the real time, table names may be lengthy like this. Hyderabad branch employee details. Like this in real time, names may be lengthy like this. See, every time, instead of typing Hyderabad branch employee details, Hyderabad branch employee details, Hyderabad branch employee details, lengthy. To make this lengthy name short, we are using the concept. See, no. I have no need to type these many characters now. Shortly, I'm typing E. Like this, we can make lengthy names short. To make lengthy names short, we are using synonym. Is it clear? See here. Select star from EMP. Is EMP name or department? This department name, I want to make short now. D. Department name, I want to make short. D. What I'm writing here? Create synonym. Synonym name D. For which table? Department. Synonym create, observe. In the future, if I want to work with department table, what I write here? Select star from D. Department table data only I'm getting, observe, sir. D. Another name for department table. Suppose if you want to insert the record, write like this. Insert into D. Values 50. HR. HYD. Like this. Observe. Insert into D. In department table only it is inserted, sir. See it. In department table only it is inserted. See. So department table, another name is what? D. So to give permanent alias name to the table, we are using the concept synonym. For department table, I'm giving permanent another name D. D means department table only. Department means department table only. So to give permanent alias name to the table, we use this concept. Is it clear about synonyms, sir? When it is useful, understand this point. After this, I stop the session. There is one user is there, C hashes user A. Another user is there, C hashes user B. Okay, there is a table is there. Hyderabad branch employee details. Is the table name? Who is the owner of this table? User A. Who is the owner of this table? User A. Now user B wants to access it. The user A has to give permission now. Is granting permission. Is granting permission on this table to user B. Okay. Now if user B wants to access, he has to write owner name dot table name. What user B has to write now? Observe. User B has to write owner name dot table name. What he has to write? Select star from what is owner name? C hash hash user A dot Hyderabad branch employee details. See here, is it not lengthy name? Lengthy name. C hash hash user A dot Hyderabad branch employee details like this. So if user B wants to access user A's Hyderabad branch employee details table data, he has to write this much lengthy name to make it short. What he will do? He creates synonym. Create synonym H for C hash hash user A dot Hyderabad branch employee details. Synonym created. Now what user B writes now? Select star from H. He get user A's Hyderabad branch employee details table data. See this much lengthy name. This much lengthy name we are making as short H. Are you understanding? To make lengthy name short, we are using the concept synonym. This is the only purpose of synonym. Synonym topic is over. Is it clear? How to drop the how to see the synonyms information? Okay, select synonym name from user underscore synonyms. All sequences information maintained by user underscore sequences. All synonyms information maintained by user underscore synonyms. D is the synonym. D is the synonym for which table? D is the synonym for which table? Department table. D is the synonym name for which table? Department. I want to drop the synonym. Drop synonym. Synonym name. Synonym drop. That's it. This is the only purpose of synonym to make lengthy names short. We use it. This much lengthy name we're making short like this. This much lengthy name we're making short like this. So to make lengthy name short, we are using synonym. Synonym topic is over. I'm stopping the session here. Tomorrow we discuss about indexes. Indexes are views, any topic. No need to follow the order. Indexes are views, any topic we discuss in the next session. And day after tomorrow, uh, just 3 sessions left, sir. For indexes, 1 session. For views, 1 session. For materialized views, 1 session. Maximum 3 sessions. I tried to finish in 2 sessions, sir. Maximum 3 sessions are required. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow. Short name. Permission is required. Grant. Grant. Grant दे तो if grant is there, he can access. Try it. Do experiments with it. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I'm leaving the session. See you tomorrow.